In the Series 8 finale of Doctor Who, we were introduced to the second incarnation of the Master since the show's revival. In typical Master fashion, the character's identity was concealed and saved for a big dramatic moment. But something about this reveal has never quite sat right with me, and I'd like to dive into why. Because 2014 was somehow quite a long time ago, I'll briefly sum up how the reveal played out and how it was tied into the series arc. In the series opener, the episode's villain gets impaled on a very pointy spike and wakes up in a lovely garden from Series 6. At the time, we all thought this meant something, but it turns out it was just a reused location. He's then greeted by a strange Scottish lady calling herself Missy, who tells him he's in heaven. It's ruddy mysterious.
It's ruddy mysterious.
Missy shows up again one episode later in Into the Dalek, offering coffee to a recently deceased side character. She's then absent from the next few episodes. When a police officer is killed in The Caretaker, and it seems like Missy should be there to welcome him to the afterlife, Chris Addison is there instead. Then Missy struts onto the screen looking evil, and just walks off again. The afterlife teasers disappear for a while after that, and we get a few scenes of Missy watching Doctor Who on an iPad, in vertical though, as if she's on Quibi. So we've seen enough from this woman to know that she's important, and we're starting to get suspicious. From the evil looks to the menacingly vague statement,
Clara, my Clara, I have chosen well.
It seemed like she's a baddie. The biggest red flag for me was that she willingly subjected herself to In the Forest of the Night, and I can't trust anyone who does that. We then arrive at Dark Water, the first half of the series finale. Clara's in a real state because Danny Pink has just lost a fight with a car, so she and the Doctor go to the Cyberman aquarium to give him a phone call. Then, in walks the mysterious figure we've met, but the Doctor hasn't. She claims she's Missy, the Mobile Intelligence Systems Interface, some kind of AI. As the episode progresses, she acts more and more suspicious until the Doctor demands to know who she really is. Then, at the end of the episode, when all hope already feels lost because the Cybermen are taking over, Missy says this.
Short for mistress. Well, couldn't very well keep calling myself the Master. Now could I?
As I said earlier, this moment has always felt slightly off for me. I think it's because it's clearly trying to be a big shocking twist, but it's going about it the wrong way. Despite what J.J. Abrams might tell you, the best twists are the ones you don't see coming. Now, I don't think this is a hot take to say that a surprise shouldn't be expected. I mean, look at Empire Strikes Back, one of the most famous twists of all time. I think it would have been a lot worse had the whole film been going, hey, do you want to know who Vader is? We'll tell you soon. It's a big mystery. Do you want to have a guess? I think it's a real shame that they did that, essentially, with Missy. They put her into this mystery box, this Missy-tory box, this mystery box. What's even more annoying is that Michelle Gomez plays Missy the Snogbot 3000 really convincingly. Had they not already set her up as someone important, we would have no reason to question this robot introduction. As the episode progresses, she slowly starts acting eviler and more sinisterer, and an audience member would slowly start to question whether she was who she said she was. But the plot moves so quickly that I doubt anyone would be able to draw the line between the names Missy, Mistress and Master in the 23 minutes between her introduction and the reveal. Unfortunately, we had more than 23 minutes. They gave us 10 weeks between Deep Breath and Dark Water to speculate about the identity of this Missy. I think that's more than enough time for people to work out that it's short for Mistress. I personally saw a theory post that guessed it correctly, like the day after Deep Breath aired. It's really not that complicated. And they should have known that Doctor Who fans would have figured it out very quickly, because Osgood, a canonical Doctor Who fan, guessed it within about 10 minutes. Even if you hadn't worked out that she was the Master, you had enough information to know that there would be a reveal, which, as I said, is going to lessen the impact. There's also the issue of the audience not quite being on the same page as the Doctor. This isn't the first moment of dramatic irony in the show, where we know more than the Doctor does, but it does feel like the most unnecessary. Seeing Rose throughout Series 4 is frustrating because we want the Doctor to notice her, and this helps us empathise with Rose because she's feeling a similar frustration.
Doctor, it's me. Came back. It's like an outer space Facebook.
Everyone except Rose.
In Hell-Bent, when the Doctor sees Clara and doesn't recognise her, we feel a similar sadness to Clara, and the fact he's oblivious really heightens the feeling of tragedy. All of these moments are improved by the knowledge we have and the Doctor doesn't. But the fact we've met Missy 5 more times than the Doctor really adds nothing. The only real impact is that I ended up with a far less surprised look on my face than the Doctor did, which made me quite jealous of him, to be honest. If you want examples of times when the show got the Master reveal just right, you need look no further than the 3 others that happened in New Who. When we were introduced to Professor Yana, Razor and O, there was no mystery surrounding these characters whatsoever. They just existed in the episode as who we thought they were until the big reveal. So it was far more impactful than when Missy was shown to be the Master. Somehow, John Sim was in the trailer for World Enough in Time and people still didn't see the reveal at the end coming. That's how much better it was. So why was Missy's reveal done differently? It seems these days people prefer Doctor Who when it's less standalone and more serialised, and I'm probably with them. A good ongoing arc can really make or break a series. And I guess in 2014 they had the added pressure of having a brand new Doctor, which is always a challenge to keep viewers interested, but this year it was someone who wasn't even sexy like David Tennant and Matt Smith, and they had to do what they could to keep people interested and intrigued long enough to realise he was the best Doctor yet. However, I feel like sacrificing what could have been the most impactful reveal of the show's history for the sake of an overarching plot thread isn't a great trade, nor is it a particularly necessary one. I think there was a way for the series to have both an intriguing story arc and a fantastic twist at the end. This glorious solution comes in the form of Chris Addison. I've mentioned him already. He plays Seb, Missy's AI assistant who welcomed the policeman into the afterlife in The Caretaker. But he has a much more substantial role in Dark Water, being the main person Danny Pink talks to when he arrives in the afterlife. It seems like it's his job to deal with the majority of people who end up there. So why not scrap the scenes with Missy and give Seb all the interactions with the dead people? There's a lot of comedy in the way he talks to them about their own deaths so mundanely, and welcomes them into the afterlife as nonchalantly as you'd welcome someone to a new office. Having scenes of him welcoming every dead character into the Nethersphere throughout the series would have been more entertaining, more consistent, and I think it would be just as intriguing as the scenes we had. This feels so obvious to me that I'm convinced it was the way it was originally going to be. Because thinking about it, it doesn't make sense to have a character whose main role in the series is to welcome people to the afterlife, and then have most of the scenes be done by Missy. Replacing Missy in these scenes with Seb, or returning them to Seb, depending on whether you believe my conspiracy theory or not, would mean that when it came to Dark Water, we would just assume that Missy was a robot working for the mysterious Chris Addison character, making it even more of a shock when Missy was revealed to be the one behind it all, and the Master. The reveal scene itself is actually really well done, and doesn't have to change at all. We just need the audience to know less when we go into it. Michelle Gomez and Peter Capaldi have an electric chemistry that's apparent right from the start of their interactions. What's also instantly obvious is how perfectly cast Michelle Gomez was for Missy. In this two-parter, she shows off her skills at being funny, camp, terrifying, and desperate for the Doctor's friendship. It serves as a perfect episode to introduce the new Master, and it's let down significantly by the fact it's not her first episode. I don't know, it's hard to say how I would have felt about the reveal if it was done differently. It's impossible for me to put myself back into the mind frame of someone who doesn't know that Missy is the Master. Maybe it still would have fallen flat. But I think I would have been quite excited to see that the Renegade Master was back once again.
Once again, it's a Renegade Master, now called Missy, with ill behaviour. It's a Renegade Master, killing all the people.
So there you have it, a video no one really asked for about how a Doctor Who episode 6 years ago could have been slightly better. This is the first time I've made a video like this before, so if you're still watching, I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. It's really weird saying this into a camera. Subscribe. I've got some more video ideas like this coming up. So yeah, I had a really good time making it. What is the one I haven't said? Comment. Let me know what you think about Dark Water. And yeah, hopefully, as these continue, I'll get a slicker outro. Thanks for watching. This is like my PewDiePie bro fist. It's just a kind of thumbs up, awkward. Thank you. Love you.